Hey guys, MeLikeBigBoom here, and welcome to Unturned 3.18.10.0. This week's update was primarily an update or a progress report regarding this new upcoming map for Unturned. Lots of exciting information in this week's update, but before we get into that, there were a few minor additions and improvements in this week's update, mostly pertaining to dev kit changes. So if you guys are working on a custom map using the dev kit level editor, some of these additions will be useful for you. I will put those on the screen right now. You'll also notice that there is a zombie difficulty assets addition right there. We will get into that in a little bit regarding the progress of this upcoming map. And also under the improvements section, there was a pretty cool improvement that makes houses have randomized colors. Previously, each home had a color and a shape, and you place those down and you kind of had to mix it up a little bit. Now it won't feel so weird to put multiple homes next to each other because they will automatically have random colors applied to them. Also, under tweaks, care packages or those airdrops fall a little bit slower, so you have more time to figure out where they're going to land. But other than that, that's basically everything that was actually added to the game this week. Keep in mind, Nelson has been putting a whole lot of effort into this new map, and accordingly, he has added a little bit of a progress report on this map. He says this week, he has been continuing work on the objects for the new map, Silo 22's Big Brother being the most exciting, that's pretty cool, and looking through the suggestions and feedback many of you have been posting. Now that is pretty exciting. Silo 22. For those of you that don't know, Silo 22 is that big giant missile silo in the dead zone of Russia. It is a huge dam looking object that up at the top can spawn tanks, and it has a bunch of spiral staircases leading down this missile place. It is an awesome, super unique building that kind of unfortunately was masked behind it being in a dead zone. You don't really see it all that often, but once you're in there, it's really cool, and as it turns out, Nelson is working on the Big Brother to that. So I thought Silo 22 was pretty big in and of itself. This is Silo 22 on a bigger scale, supposedly. He doesn't have any pictures, though he has been working on that, and that is pretty cool. Also, he says if you guys have any city and town related ideas, he's especially curious to see those at the moment. For example, Washington had the new largest city with overpasses and skyscrapers, and Russia had that underground metro system. In this upcoming map, Nelson is looking to create a new unique aspect for these cities. A few of his ideas include a city that is burned to the ground, covered in charred rubble and flames, a district that is flooded, and also a coalition fortified encampment. He says there's no guarantees in regards to cities looking like that, but those are some of the ideas he has. He's also asking for some of your guys' suggestions, so if you have any ideas regarding unique maps, be sure to put them in the comment section down below. Personally, I think a flooded district is a wonderful idea. I really like the idea of a city kind of being underwater, not necessarily the entire thing underwater like Atlantis, but definitely a flooded district, especially to a point where you will need a snorkel and a diving tank in order to explore the place. Maybe there could be some caves or underground metro system that is flooded to where in order to actually explore the whole thing, you'll need to gear up. Something like that would be pretty cool. My only concern with the idea of a burned to the ground city, I mean, it would look really cool with all the charred flames and all that stuff in a city, is it would make scavenging at least a little strange. I mean, finding clothes in a city that was burned to the ground is kind of weird, especially guns or really any objects for that matter. I feel like if a city was burned to the ground, you wouldn't be able to scavenge anything out of that. But I was also thinking at the same time that perhaps there could be a city that's burned to the ground, all the charred remains, and then there's some military outposts kind of scattered around in there as if they're trying to search for remains or something, or some medical tents and things like that. That is also a pretty cool idea. And then of course coalition fortified encampment, I think that should be in every map. I mean, that's fantastic. Though I think it has been underrepresented in maps like Russia or Washington. I mean, we have coalition bases in those maps, but it would be nice to have something actually big, like a massive coalition center or HQ or something, where you can actually find some really cool stuff and a whole lot of it. So really, those three ideas that Nelson offered are fantastic ideas. I'd love to see something along those lines, or all of them really, in the map. That would be really cool. But also, if you guys have any suggestions in regards to unique locations or traits that can be applied to cities, be sure to put them in the comment section down below. I'm hoping to have this be another discussion. Nelson has definitely been watching your guys' comments that you put in these videos, so be sure to keep that up. In the next section, Nelson is talking about the zombie difficulty assets that was in the additions section. This is to allow a new sort of progression where the higher tiered areas of the map actually also have higher concentrations of the more challenging zombie types. Previously, the only difficulty facing military locations and stuff is other players, but when it came to single-player gameplay, when you went to those locations, there was no real reason why you should be more scared to go into military base than you would to any other location. With these new zombie difficulty tweaks, you'll be able to place down zombie spawns and also tweak the density of them and also tweak the ratios that they might spawn, things like electric zombies or acid zombies or mega zombies and things like that, to make military locations and high tier locations spawn more difficult zombies, zombies with more health and things like that up there, whereas other locations might be a little bit easier. I think it's super cool. Raising the skill ceiling is always a good idea, not necessarily making the game as a whole more difficult, but at least adding more ways to challenge yourself more than you already can is always a good idea. I feel like with Unturned right now, you find a gun, you build a base, and you're kind of good to go. I feel like there should be more locations that challenge a fully geared player much more than it already is. Additionally, Nelson says creating Silo 22 was the first object he made for Russia, and in doing so it got him really excited to release the map, and he's kind of pointing out that he has the same feeling again when it came to creating the objects for this upcoming map now. He's creating these objects and getting super excited for releasing this map, and I think that's pretty cool. He says the goal for the next week is to continue creating these new objects, start on the landscape details of the map, and potentially begin making new items, some of which might come out before the map. Items, by the way, meaning things like guns or tools or clothes and things like that. Additionally, and this is pretty exciting, he says update-wise, the next version of Hawaii will ideally be ready sometime before this new map I'm working on. So there is a massive update planned for Hawaii. I know that we've kind of lost our appeal with Hawaii relatively quickly, but this is pretty huge. I mean, especially with the dev kit changes and the ability to add tiles system, this isn't just an update that's changing what is on Hawaii, it is actually adding and expanding upon what is already there. So this is pretty exciting. Hawaii is going to be receiving a actually a really large update pretty soon and before this new map comes out. So we're going to have something new to take a look at and mess around on as we're waiting for this new map to come out. That's really everything that was posted in this little progress report here. Once again, Nelson wants your guys' suggestions. Unturned is heavily based off of community suggestions, and now is a better time than ever to help offer your unique ideas for this upcoming map for Unturned. As of now, he's specifically looking for ideas in regards to unique cities, but if you have anything regarding this new map, be sure to put them in the comment section down below. That's pretty much everything that was added or talked about in Unturned 3.18.10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and do all that gibberish, because MeLikeBigBoom is out.